Bottom Line Sports Talk. I'm George Abraham. You know my partner, Al Campman. Al, we talk about the Penguins. We were all in. Coach Phillips, you saw a little pep rally the other night. Al calls me. He says, man, he said, you should have seen it. These people were all geeked up. They were clapping every time he said something. And then the other day, a guy calls our radio show and he says, we got one today. It's doable.
Yeah, he thought it was going to be easy.
Well, yeah, Al and I being coaches, we're always scared of the word easy.
Yes.
I lost too many to teams
We all did, yes.
to think it's easy. But all of a sudden, Western Illinois, 31 unanswered, and this thing could go south quickly now.
Well, it is going to go south because they have to go to Northern Iowa next. Oh, I see no way that they can keep this on the tracks after that loss. When you're blitzing people at halftime, people were laughing in the stands, going to the concession stand and said, boy, we're back. And then Coach Phillips, from his own 36, has no faith in his defense and goes for it on 4th and 1. And that tells you right there that you have you don't have high hopes. You know, if you have a faith in your team, you punt the ball there, get the ball back, and go win the game. And instead, they went for it, got stopped, and it became easy for Western Illinois to run in and finish the game with a field goal. Everybody likes what Coach Phillips is doing in the community. Everybody likes what he's doing with trying to go out and recruit. But still, the bottom line, George, win games in college football.
Al says we talk about it all the time. This guy's a great guy, and that guy. And the bottom line is, what's his record in this business?
In college football, that's what it is.
We talk about it. We're going to talk about it later. In our national segment, the guy at Arkansas, I like what he said. He said, the minute I flipped the lights on, he used our line, actually. That's our line. It's my team.
Yeah, that is it.
You played in the spring. Okay, that was a little, I don't know what you'd call it, like a warm-up.
Yeah, that's all it was.
But
no one really cares.
This is business here.
Yeah, and you have to win that one. Let's put it that way. If you're a YSU Penguin fan and a player and a coach, you don't get that one back.
This guy asked me our day, Al. He said, I was telling him how good some of these FCS teams are.
Tremendous.
I said, Pitt, they'll pick New Hampshire. I don't see them calling North Dakota State.
Right.
And this guy was saying, well, who are some of the good ones? You know what I told him? Youngstown's League. I go, don't bother looking for Delaware or James Madison or Eastern Washington or
those
Stephen
are all the great
F.
ones too.
Or Stephen F.
There's 4 of them.
But he said, are you serious? I said, forget it. Now, this is a bad team at home. Yes. Which means one of those so-so teams is going to be in the road.
Right. That's the way it works. And fans were pumped, too. That's the sad part. They were really pumped up for this. And now, the place they never win anyway, now they go to Northern Iowa, who lost by 6 to Iowa State. So you know how good Northern Iowa is, no question about it.
We don't even want to say it, do we?
In local news, we have a recruit going to Cincinnati who's on the national scene this week.
Saturday.
Against Notre Dame.
2:30.
Jason Eulet from Cheney has done a verbal to Cincinnati. Interesting how great he has to be because he hasn't played.
So
he's
what's that
outstanding. Yeah, he's outstanding.
He's a highlight reel.
Yes.
Or they won the signing.
No question about it. Good way to say it, George.
No, because they have a good quarterback now, but he'll be gone.
Yeah, when you look at
oh my goodness,
film on kids, you study it and study it and study it and come up with a determination that he could play there. Well, they had already made up their mind that not only could he play there, he could be a star when you sign somebody after a season-ending injury. Congratulations.
Al had an old buddy that he asked him about watching film, remember? And he says to Al, Al says, well, what do you look for? What did he tell you?
He said, he says, if I'm gonna sign a kid and think he's going to be a great one, I'll look at it and I see 3 plays that he made that no one else can make. And and it had nothing to do with anything else went on. He read it. He made a play how did he make that play? And George, they stand out. Like the Henderson.
What's the guy tell us about Mount Union? They were all like that.
Yes, and they've proved.
We were talking to the Westminster coach. We said, what do they look like on film?
Every one of them, he said.
He says, honestly, you keep looking for someone to go after, or he said, and there's no one.
No, the whole team is filled with stars, and that's why they're 1 or 2 every year. Now we're not saying every other year, every 7 years.
No.
Every year Mount Union's in the final.
130 some and 6 or something.
Yes.
That goes. But this is amazing. First of all, Cincinnati, they're a top 15 program.
Yeah, they moved up in the ladder.
And
they have.
If they win, having beaten Indiana, if they beat at Notre Dame. If they win at Notre Dame,
Perfect year to be good too, by the way.
I'd say because you see,
Because there ain't no great teams.
You know what I will say this though, I got to tell you, I watch closely because first of all I have no life. Secondly, I kind of enjoy it. I've seen about 3 teams this year that if you don't bring your lunch, SMU being one of them.
Yeah, they're scoring.
Like I know they were not real good on the other side.
Yeah, they score like crazy.
But let me tell you this, Al. Like if you think you're just going to roll past Notre Dame and throw your feet there next week, you're going home.
Yeah, no question. There are some teams that are really good on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, Central Florida being another.
Yeah,
one.
there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them that are really good. That's why you got to look at all sides.
Yeah.
Because SMU played somebody good, they give up 70 points.
Yeah, TCU there, they shut them down rather. Even though the game ended in the 70s.
Yeah. Think what you just said there.
No, well, listen.
Shut them down. The game ended in the 70s.
Well, let me tell you what happened.
42-34.
I'm looking at it, Al. And before I blinked, they scored so fast. I called this kid. I said, "What's the over/under on FanDuel?" He said, "It's moving as we speak."
Always does.
I said, "It's headed to 100."
Uh-huh.
But I mean, ridiculous. But I tell you what, if you don't play that day,
right?
Like Cincinnati, if they think they're going to Central Florida and just throwing their equipment out, they can forget Notre Dame. But I can't wait till Saturday because that's the little guy. That's David and Goliath. Even though Cincinnati's very, very good, that's still Notre Dame.
Right. That's in the terms of legacy, in terms of trademark schools. That's Notre Dame.
Let's talk about this Howland 27-game win streak. You have to give hats off to Boardman, but I don't think you forget the streak either.
No, the streak's everything. The streak is everything. Howland, 42 regular season games in soccer without a loss, including playoffs, including regular season. And Boardman comes in and wins 4-2, continues to break their great season, have a 6-1 record. When you're looking at Howland, what a streak it was. Congratulations to the coaching staff and the players there. It's difficult to win 3 games, let alone 42 regular season games without a loss. Congratulations for that great effort by Boardman and the great streak by Howland. Well, one of the things that's happened locally is the scheduling is crazy with the COVID. Really wild. And when you look at what happened this week, Matthews defeats Astapula St. John 38-0. And I saw the score, and I said, congratulations to coach and what a win it was. But then I see they play him again 2 weeks
Sounds like
later.
Pennsylvania last year.
So, but I'm saying, isn't that nice to have, you won 38-0.
I like your chances.
You're playing the same team again.
Oh.
And one of the things I wrote down in the paper was that I talked to a guy a long time ago and said, there's 3 things you look at and how it works out. First thing, you got to have players. That's talent. Secondly, you got to be coach, and Bill Bourne is an outstanding coach. The more important third one everybody forgets, schedule. And
Who are you playing?
I like this AD. I want to coach at Matthews.
Give me a couple games. My guy used to schedule Newcastle on a Wednesday. I'd be like, could you give me a chance to get ready? He goes, well, you want to play 24 games. I said, yeah, but I don't want to go to Farrell on a Wednesday night. Yes. Like, I'm not that
You like this AD. This AD, he says, Bill, guess what?
Yeah, you got
I got asked to play St. John twice, and they're dogs.
I talked to Bill.
And they're dogs.
I talked to him. By the way, he's the oldest coach in the country, Pete.
Yes.
And it's going to 400 wins. That's and if
Mike Palumbo.
Break that
is
out.
AD. He's the guy.
Hey,
I want Mike being my guy.
Yeah, hey, break out 400 wins. That's 8 for 50 years if you're counting. They're pretty impressive. But, yeah, you're right. And we schedule all the time. And not only we go talent, schedule, quarterback when we're ranking teams. Another thing, too, when do you play them? Like the other night, Al says to me, he goes, there's no possible way Fresno can be up after beating UCLA.
It happens all the time every week.
And they're the next thing you know, Las Vegas is putting the beat down on them.
It happens every week. It's hard for teams to come back after a great win. It happened in the NFL this past week. All the teams that are winning lost. I mean, we're in games early or behind, or they come back, or they lost the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk Major League Baseball, Albert. 6 games left. It's going to the last day for the wild cards. We know that. I am hoping there's no tie between the Dodgers and Giants. It's not for a wild card, but for first place. Because, A, I don't want a 1-game playoff. And B, if you've led all this way, you don't want to give it up with 6 days.
Yeah, and both teams are so good.
They win every night.
They've had tremendous seasons, both, and we knew the Dodgers would be. The Giants are the talk of the town.
Where'd that come from?
No one, and I mean no one predicted this. They picked them for last place. They picked Colorado ahead of them.
He called me one time years ago, and he goes, "Did you ever notice?" He said, "When they both win, they're both not losing."
It's happened this year.
100 wins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, going to have over 100
They're not
wins.
done yet, and they
Well
can't
over 100
rest
wins.
because they're only 2 up now. My good news is 4-2, they can't beat us.
Right. 4-2's a tie.
Yeah, and 3 with Arizona at home. If you don't win those, it's your fault.
Yeah, but that's baseball.
Oh, I know, especially
That's
but
baseball.
worse when you go there. Colorado showed the Dodgers.
Yes.
Almost won 2 of them.
Yep.
So they're going to the last day. I'm 70. El's almost that old. I've never seen and I've seen them lose every day, like the Phillies. I've never seen them win every day.
Yeah, every day.
And I just checked the score. He says to me every day, "They win." I go, "Yeah, it's 6-2." Like it's.
It was 2-2 in the ninth again. I mean, you understand they keep winning games.
Then
the
these
same
guys
way.
come up and pitch hit.
17,
home run.
17 pinch hit home runs. That's all you got to know.
It's never happened, right?
No, most ever.
Now let's say this: in the other league, the Yankees, believe it or not, after treading water, they're getting hot at the right time.
Yeah, they played this like this all year. They've been so streaky.
Oh.
They won 13 games in a row one time, then they lost 8,
Yep.
9.
Yep.
So I don't count them. They could go out and lose the next 6. I have no idea what they're doing, but I know one thing: Boston's not playing good.
See, when you go into Boston, I'm wanting 2 out of 3. Surviving 1 out of 3 can't be 0.
Right.
Well, they turned the table.
Yeah, Boston and Toronto both aren't playing with a darn.
It's the wrong time.
Yep, and you never know what's going to happen. And so there's 6 games left. I'll sit here and say the Yankees can lose all 6 and Boston can win all 6.
Hey,
so I have no idea.
Funny
really,
story.
I don't.
No. How would you? The Toronto and
Both
Yankees
teams
are
have
playing.
been going back and forth all the way.
How about this? Al and I have a buddy who had Robbie Ray in school. He's going to win the Cy Young, very possibly
chance.
American League. And Al and I, our buddies, has him for class, and he wasn't a very good student. And his mom came in one day, and she says, "I wish he'd do better." She said, "I'm not really worried because he's going to play Major League Baseball." My buddy
you
says,
laugh and think, what's
he
he
laughed.
saying?
He
Yes.
said, "Ma'am," he said, "that's wonderful, but you might want to have a plan B."
didn't
Little
need it.
did he know. He didn't need plan B.
He didn't need it. Not when you're going for the Cy
That
Young.
boy's going to win the Cy
Major
Young.
League Baseball. Yes, that's the truth.
Getting one spot, then a one-game winner take all is still Russian roulette.
Yep, that's what baseball has.
But you'd want Garrett Cole, right?
Yes.
Would you be? Would you?
would. Oh, no question. They have Sale.
him
Boston
and
has Sale.
That'd be an over/under about 5.5, wouldn't it?
They won't pitch more than 6 innings anyway, so it doesn't make a difference.
National League wild card, Dodgers and Giants. We talked about 100 wins. It's just amazing. But here's the key. Here's the what do you call fly in the ointment? They used to say, well, they have 100 wins and the Cardinals will have 20 fewer. Well, first of all, it's about 14 fewer, and they haven't lost in 2.5 weeks. That's no gimme.
Yeah, I've never seen a team this hot.
No.
Winning games once again.
No, every night.
In different ways.
No.
Goldschmidt's really hot with the bat, which means he's a aircraft carrier when he is, and he's really hot. I just don't think they have the pitching to beat Dodgers or Giants. I don't think they can throw a pitcher out there that can win. So I'll take the Dodgers Giants against St. Louis.
How about the other day? This is how well things are going for St. Louis. The guy hit a fly ball, and in the difficulty in running it back and turning around, the guy scored from second.
I saw that.
So that tells you 2 things. One, he's digging.
Yeah,
Two,
they're
he's
hustling,
pretty-
right?
yeah,
You
he's
hustle a little
hustling.
better when you're winning.
That makes a lot of sense. Here's a little warning light came on yesterday out in Los Angeles. Tawny, everybody assumed he's just going to sign forever, break the bank, and live there. And through an interpreter or whatever, he said, I want to win.
Oh, jeez.
So that sells Yankees to me. That says Yankees to me.
That says Dodgers to me.
Yeah, it doesn't say Angels.
No, but the Angels do spend a lot of money too, though. So
Artie Moreno has spent a lot of money.
They spent.
He's just not been
They
good
have,
with
they
it.
have not been lucky. That's the truth.
Is that there?
Yes.
You think it's just a matter of luck?
I don't know that, but I just know that like Trout getting hurt for a year, you can't predict.
Now you got to get some
the
help.
best player in baseball.
Now here's
out for the year.
something else. Did this happen when we were younger? Because if it did, I don't remember or didn't follow it. Phillies in the thick of a pennant race. 1.5 games back, which is,
Right there, right?
to a kid that never pitched above A ball yesterday.
Yeah, I saw it one time with the Angels when they won the World Series. They brought Rodriguez up, and he ended up being the closer. But other than that, I can't remember another time when you bring somebody up in the heat of a pennant race and let him be the guy that needs to win. And by the way, they lost the game too. That's the worst
Well,
part.
6-0 to the Pirates. The one guy hit a home run for the Pirates. He hasn't hit a home run since Little League. He hit one out. He swatted one out. I didn't even know he was a switch
That's all it
hitter.
takes. That's all it takes one time.
No. Let's talk NCAA football. I think this year we don't have to worry about Dabo.
No.
All those cute little sayings and this and that.
No, he's built a powerhouse down there, but not this year. He's always had a really good quarterback. And they thought they had another one. They thought coming out of California, this kid was so highly rated. But he's proven he can't run. And in today's world in college football, you need somebody who can move with the legs too.
Let's talk about that. He came in last year at Notre Dame, and I thought to myself, it's Cam Newton.
Mm-hmm. Can't run like Cam.
No. Here they are, 2 losses. They're out of the national title picture. They still win the ACC, but I would say 2 losses is going to keep them out because the ACC is going to get 2.
They're out.
Georgia and Alabama somehow are getting in there.
Yeah, it looks
and
like
if Notre Dame has 1 loss, good luck. Someone else can get in.
Right, it's going to be hard.
I want to talk about Oklahoma later too because something interesting happened the other day. The other top team, Ohio State, one of the Blue Bloods, playing Akron. I know Akron needs the money, but I would ask you the question: who got better?
Yeah, and that's part of it. Alabama plays Mercer.
Yep.
It's part of what goes on in today's world. I don't like it. I wish they cross-section conferences, but I'm kind of used to it, so it doesn't even cross my mind that Akron wanted that money. They got a whole lot of money to go to Ohio State. Both teams are happy.
Al and I were talking. I said to him the other day, Pitt was playing New Hampshire. Penn State was playing Villanova. I said, why didn't somebody get on the phone and call and say, hey, New Hampshire, we'll give you $1 million. Penn State. Pitt says, hey, Villanova, we'll give you $1 million. Play each other. We'll go to Penn State, or Penn State will come here. We'll sell 80 to 100,000 tickets.
Right.
We'll make mucho dinero. And then somebody gives you that old, remember that old, when you wanted to do something, your AD would say, oh, yeah, we can't do that.
Right.
Well, they were making games on Tuesday last year.
Last year they did.
So don't give me that. It would take some creativity.
Right.
But wouldn't that have been sweet Saturday?
That would have been fun. A lot better, more fun than seeing New Hampshire get beat 77-7.
Isn't that awful?
We thought they might give them a game. That's so funny.
That tells you what I know. Now, by the way, I had to say this. I think I mentioned it early. These FCS teams, whether it's James Madison, Stephen F. Austin, Eastern Washington, North Dakota State, it's never them. Like when they pick those boys, they always pick one they can knock the
smack
out.
Yeah, they have to do that.
If you play one of those guys, I watched North Dakota go out west, and for a half, I was like, oh, you picked the wrong team.
Those teams are good. Yes, they are.
Now, Oklahoma, let's talk about them because this kid was the number 1 choice for the Heisman. Bo Rattler, I believe is his name. Oklahoma, first of all, they win. I mean, I know the game's close, but they win. But his own students were booing him and yelling for the backup. And the girl after that, the lady, I didn't think it was I'll ask you. She basically went right at him and said, did you hear the fans booing you wanting your backup? I thought it was a little...
Tough question, right, for a kid?
Yeah, for a kid. She's an adult.
Right.
He's 19, 20.
They're treating him a little different, though.
Okay. Neil.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to say. I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, they aren't amateurs anymore.
He's driving around in a vehicle. They said better than half the adults.
Every person in that school. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So it's changed immensely because of that.
See, you're up on
and all the great quarterbacks are now. I'm talking, and he's considered a great one.
Yeah.
Are making over 500,000 or close to it or more, and so you're not an amateur anymore. So I guess you're free game. I don't know if they're so young, but if you decide to take $500,000, I think you might be.
Are you a public figure at that point?
In my mind, you become more of one.
I get you. Al and I, we don't like to criticize kids, and even coaches that make $3,000, $4,000 like basketball. I'm not going to say anything.
In high school, especially. Yes,
Now you're making $7, $8 million, and you don't call timeout.
Right.
I'll tell you. Texas. Now I know Texas Tech's just okay. But is Sark starting to get the magic wand on?
Well, he made a big mistake. And
he had the wrong guy in there in the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh,
I told you how good he was. And I can't understand what he saw in practice. Thompson, I told George, Texas is going to be really good. He said, I said, why? I know Sark's a heck of a coach, and he's inheriting a really good quarterback. So I'm thinking if that other quarterback beat him out, he must be better. Not even close.
That's what happened. I heard one of the guys the other night say something. I said, he switched quarterbacks. And I remember what you told me. It was Neuheisel or someone basically said short of he had the wrong. And now I asked Albert this. Spring ball.
They all do it. I've seen it happen so many times.
Summer ball.
What do they look at?
Fall ball.
Yeah.
Stanford. Had the wrong guy in there.
Stanford had the wrong guy in there too. But see, Thompson had already done it. If they was hand in hand, neither one had done it. Thompson went to the bowl game last year and threw 4 touchdowns.
Well, they're dangerous now because the runner's the best runner I've seen.
No, Robinson's good.
Is he the best runner?
They're so much better. They have a good team. I always thought they were good.
Okay.
That's
what. All right, here's one. I root for the old fat guy. You know that. Arkansas. Old Sam. They brought old Sam in there. Everybody chuckled because he's kind of little heavy, not your modern. And they're just taking names, man. They beat up Texas, and then they beat up. I guess $70 million doesn't make what it used to.
Yeah, I got a thought on that one. And that's different than anybody else. I don't think anybody else comes up with that. Chad Morris is one of the 5 best recruiters in the country.
Mm-hmm.
He can't coach. He can't develop players, though.
But he got him in there, so he had talent.
No. He had 11. I think he has 11 seniors starting, 6-year seniors. 5.
I got you.
5. These are all Chad Morris players.
I got you.
And I know this guy can really coach football, the Pittman guy. So you got that combination of a guy that recruited his butt off. So I'm going to see how Pittman does when he has to recruit his own
this
players.
week he's got Georgia too, so you'll know if it's been a.
Well, they're very good though. Beating Texas and beating Texas A&M.
Hey, I got one for you. He's an old timer, So they come in after that Texas game and they're jumping. You know how they. I love it. And he's dancing around a little bit and everything, and he screams out of nowhere, goes, "Turn on that jukebox!" Right. There hasn't been a jukebox in 50 years.
That was funny. That was a great line.
Turn on the jukebox.
That was a great line. But he's an easy guy to root for, no question about it. He's paid his dues.
No, absolutely. Hey, side note, prayers if you're ever, saying prayers for somebody. Please, Rich Rodriguez's son got hit so hard the other day. He's on a ventilator. He can't breathe in his own.
Is he a high school kid or a college kid?
What happened now? He has 2 years left. He was in Arizona. When his father got the coordinator job at Monroe, he went with him. Bobby Bowden's son's there, Terry Bowden. And he got hit.
At the game, he was playing. So he was there at the game when he saw his son get hit.
Oh, yeah, he's a coordinator.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Think about that. Oh, my gosh.
And he has so much lung damage he can't breathe on his own. That doesn't sound good.
This is scary.
Let's do NFL. We'll start with the king of the division, the Browns. We
called that one.
And this Justin Fields, in case he thought it was. Remember, he said in the exhibition it was no different. Did he say?
They all say that.
Did he say it was the same?
Yes, that's a joke.
Guy says the other day, he said, "Oh, Boomer Esiason, hey Justin, welcome to the league."
I told my grandsons. They asked me why, and I said, none of them are ready. I said, there ain't not one of those guys ready to play.
Not one. No, including Trevor Lawrence.
Oh no, he wasn't ready either. You can't judge the speed of the game when you're the best player on the field. Plus, and I'll say it again. When has Ohio State or an Alabama quarterback made it? Because every time they come in the pros, they had better players.
The guy said the other day.
Receiver where they're at.
He said about this kid from Alabama. He says, "Pump Yanni said something about running him." The guy says, "Pump, that's not Ole Miss." He said, "There's no hope. I don't care who he is in this league. He's not running over.
He had a better line.
He had a better line in Alabama."
Yeah, he did.
He did say that. I have to say,
they're better. They're so much better than Ohio State's the same way. Justin Fields, let him play for Ohio U and win the Heisman. And they'll say, "Wow, he's on." That's how I knew Josh Allen was so good. He played at Wyoming and stood out.
He was.
I mean, you can. Fields is going to stand out at Georgia, Ohio State. Lawrence is going to stand out at Clemson. Mm-hmm. They throw the ball up in the air. Guy jumps up, catches it, runs in the end
jumps
zone.
up with one hand.
Yes, that happens all the time.
Well, all you need to know is the kid doesn't start. Fleming, number 1 recruit in the country.
Yes.
And the other thing, guy called us the other day and he said something about a kid for Penn State being on the field as a freshman. That's because he had 3 years he's been in the NFL. They can't redshirt guys because they're not going to stay.
Yeah, and how about Ohio State? How crazy is getting there? And that kid had that tantrum. Threw things everywhere. Oh, yeah. Now they took his scholarship away. No, they kept the scholarship. But he said you can't be on the team.
Can't be on the team. Can't
Think
come
of that.
around.
That's
you
how
can use our services.
Yes. Wow.
But it's always better to be able to spell luck if you're going to write an apology.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
Yes, I agree.
There is no 2 C's in luck, by the way. The Bengals come in and take names. What did the kid from Clareton say today? Did you hear, or were you in the car?
No, I don't know.
Said they quit.
That's not true.
I know, but I'm saying he
so
was on the
stupid.
field.
That is so stupid.
Yeah, I don't know what made him say it, because he's a Pittsburgh
One of the
kid.
stupidest things you could say.
Yeah, he said, I'm telling you, he said the Steelers quit.
Yeah, I know they didn't.
Bengals feeling a little salty for one win.
Yes.
They might go back 20 years.
I'm just so stupid. Especially, I'm a Steeler normal guy. I didn't watch the game yesterday, to tell you the truth. But when you have Tuitt, Watt,
And the middle linebacker.
and the defensive end, and the other defensive end out.
Yeah.
And you have 5 of your best defenders out.
Yeah.
It is very difficult to win a game
Yeah.
when you don't have any depths. And that's that's where Colbert did not come through.
No.
They never developed depth, and so you don't have it, and you get injuries, you're in trouble.
Hey, how about Baltimore? This is something
They should have lost.
A 66-yard field goal.
I feel so bad for
But how
Detroit.
about this, though? It gets worse. Who was that last one again? Remember Tom Dempsey? Do you happen to remember who was on the other end?
That was Detroit.
The Lions.
I watched it happen.
They should have won that game yesterday.
Yeah, I feel so bad for those teams that play their hearts out. And they're playing for this coach, they really are. And I feel so bad that there's no reason Baltimore wins this game.
I hope they don't quit by Thanksgiving. You know that.
No reason Baltimore.
Hey.
No, they're not going to quit. They're
Happy
playing their butts
Thanksgiving.
off.
That's for sure.
No.
Green Bay outlast San Fran, just what we thought of. Last team at a ball. You score with 36 seconds, and you think we got it, but not Mr. Rod.
I like that. Once again, George always says, don't think you don't know as much as them. And I believe I know more. I truly do. Why rush anybody? Put 10 guys back, 10 yards down the field. Leave no openings for a ball to be thrown anywhere.
Why have linemen in there?
None. You shouldn't have one. That's what I'm saying to you. I have no idea what they don't learn. Let them take 15 seconds to pass it.
And let's take a step further.
They let them right down the middle of the field.
But
catch
it gets
the ball.
worse. What one guy should never be
Adams, never. Should not be
He
needed.
should have 3 on.
They should, yes.
They threw it to that big.
Twice.
Okay.
Twice by
We'll tackle
himself.
him.
Twice by himself.
No, Albert.
And they
No,
cannot.
Albert.
So somebody's going to invent that someday. They're going to say,
Yep.
I remember that jerk said that.
Yeah.
They should have no rush.
No,
Don't rush the.
And there should be no fat guys on
Let
the
him
field.
take all
No.
he wants
No.
to throw the ball. Because
No.
they have no timeouts, George.
No, the game was over.
The game's over.
Hey, the Jets and Giants. It's funny. Then after a while, it's no longer.
I think the Giants are pretty good. That's what hurts.
Just bad luck with
They
Washington
lost
for sure. And yesterday at the Buffalo.
the Jets are a different story.
Yeah, they're just
they're wrong on the Giants. The Giants are.
You think they can recover?
They're close. I think they can. Yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
that's interesting.
Yeah, the pros play. See, that's when Boyd says that.
Yep.
I am positive about one thing in the NFL.
They don't quit.
They play.
They get hurt.
They play every game. When there's a 1-15 team playing at the end of the year, they're playing.
Yeah.
They play.
In Denver yesterday, and somebody said their schedule. I said, you don't make it.
No.
What did Lou Holtz say? Who's down the other
play who you
end?
have to
Beat
play,
them.
yes.
Be who's down the other
Right.
end.
Uh-huh.
Buffalo rolls at home.
best
It just
team.
makes you wonder what was
It's
going
the NFL.
on week 1.
It's the NFL, Pete. Who would have thought? If you'd have told me week 3, Baltimore's going to
They should have lost Detroit.
They should have left Detroit. You say, wait a minute, how can this happen?
Yep.
Arizona's go to Jacksonville, and you say, what's the score at halftime?
Yeah.
Jacksonville's it's the NFL.
You know,
It
I
happens.
wasn't sweating that out at halftime.
It happens. It happens every week.
Hey, Mahomes, I know, don't get me wrong, I know he got $500 million. He owns every pro team in Kansas City but the one he's on. But that one play a game where he tries to be Superman.
That's why he plays, yeah.
And yesterday it cost him. He threw a ball straight up in the air. The Chargers got it, brought it back, and won the game.
That's why he plays.
Less than a minute. We're on miscellaneous stuff here. Hockey and hoops around the corner. Season too long. Cut them by a month. Al and I aren't watching.
Yep,
And by the way, the Manning brothers, more and more people are watching that telecast every week. We said on here it would happen. Something about them.
You know what's interesting? I told you that I called that night. They're too much for me.
Oh, I know. It's too much.
They talk too much.
Yeah.
I want to watch the game.
I get you.
I don't want to hear talking.
Hey, thanks again for watching Bottom Line Sports Talk. We'll see you next week.